breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and feel God's presence. I breathe. Stop it. You messed me up. And feel God's love.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Genesis.
Are we done? Okay.
We are ready to rock and roll, everyone. Let's all stand together and sing our opening song. Sheila, you can come back up, and we're ready for that one.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. There we are. Yes.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Woo! All right. How are we all doing today? Yes, all right. Well, it's wonderful to see you all here. Genesis is a community dedicated to love, inspiring harmony, and creating connections to empower spiritual growth, and we love that you are here to share in that with us today. I am Dave. I'll be your host this morning. Our online host is Eric, and if this is your first time watching online, please comment on how you found Genesis. Let us take a moment to read our mission and vision statements. Our mission: we are building a vibrant community, cultivating a garden of spiritual growth, honoring vulnerability, creating a safe place of comfort and peace where all are welcome and accepted. And our vision: Genesis is a bright beacon with an unshakable heart of love, accepting all, a home for the soul where we each creatively express our spiritual brilliance. Woohoo! All right, and we will go on to our announcements today, and I was told to make a impromptu announcements about the cords that we have here in our center today, to just watch them. They're kind of going around. We don't want anyone tripping on them, so just make sure that you are aware of that. Thank you. All right. Back by popular demand. I love that. Back by popular demand. Whoever wrote that, that was awesome. Is offering the 5-week class mental equivalent starting Wednesday, July 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. This class is a leap into a state of true potential by activating the powerful law of mental equivalence. For every formed thing in the universe, there's a corresponding mental image. Discover how to measure and expand thinking to create a larger mental image so your greatest desires may be demonstrated. Well, that just sounds absolutely perfect. So register online or the education table. The cost is $170 if you do it quickly, and then $200 if you do it after July 1st. So sign up now and get that $30 discount. Spiritual social justice is in action right as we speak, and the sign-ups are over on the welcome table. So I invite you to go over to the welcome table and be a part of that. Rose Palmer, a practitioner from CSL Seattle, is inviting all Genesis to walk in the Seattle Pride Parade on June 30th from 12 to 4. Tentative. That's what I have here. You can always catch up if you arrive late. This is one day among a whole year where love is love. The location will be downtown Seattle. We will send out directions. Please email Rose Palmer at rmpalmer62@gmail.com for more information and be a part of that fun. Christy Randolph is hosting a mindful eating group on Wednesday nights via Zoom from 8:30 to 9, and you can also email her at randolph.christykase@gmail.com to be added. And last but not least, our book study, as hosted by Karen Williams, is going to be after service today. This thing called you, so come be a part of that at any time. All right, and looking around, is there anybody here for the first time? We are all, thanks, Oren. We are all friends and family here. And I'm so glad that we're all here today to enjoy it with each other's company. So, with that said, let's get up and let's all love on each other and hug and greet each other today. Well, all right. So right now I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who is in service with us today. We have our morning greeter, who is Rose. On our projector and video, we have the Mike and Eric duo going on. For offering, we have Gideon. Our sound tech is Soren. Our online host is Eric. And our service practitioner is Karen Williams. That's right. No, let's do that. Let's give a hand. Let's thank everyone here. We appreciate everyone here. It's part of our thing today. And just a shout out to Karen Williams. If you do need prayer, Karen is fantastic at it and would be absolutely honored to pray for anything you have going on in your mind. And she's also a great person to pump you up with that spirit too. That you get the whole package when you get to pray with Karen. So, all right. Well, now I will invite Sheila to come back up to the stage, and we will sing our centering song, Breathe and Turn Within.
Okay. You guys help me with this. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I breathe and turn within. I breathe and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I pray and turn within. I pray and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I pray and turn within. I pray and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I sing and turn within. I sing and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's presence. I sing and turn within. I sing and turn within. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I open up my heart and feel God's love. I open up my heart and feel God's love. We did it. Excellent. Oh, no, it's outside. My name is Karen Williams. I'm a practitioner here at Genesis Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm going to be leading us in some spiritual practice. And we're going to begin with the gong as a breathing practice. So I'll hit the gong 3 times, 1 breath for each gong. And then I have a reading from Ernest Holmes, 365, Science of Mind. And then I will do a spiritual mind treatment. Ride out that vibration. Today's reading is titled, I Demonstrate Through the Perfect Law. All laws are laws of God. Whatever reality is, its nature is one. If I wish to demonstrate my good, I must faithfully and fervently declare that the law of the Lord is perfect, and that this law is operating in my experience now. I believe that it is the nature of thought to externalize itself, to bring about conditions that exactly correspond to the thought. Mental equivalence. Therefore, I turn resolutely from every sense of lack, want, and limitation, knowing that even though I am dealing with an invisible principle, the perfection of spirit will be made manifest in my experience. Today, I declare that the law of the Lord is perfect in everything that I do. It will externalize happiness. It will bring every good thing to me. Today, I am inwardly aware that there is a secret way of the soul. There is a secret pathway of peace. There is an invisible presence forever externalizing itself for me and through me. Today, I believe in divine guidance. Today, I believe that underneath are the everlasting arms. Today, I rest in this divine assurance and this divine security. I know that not only all is well with my soul, my spirit, and my mind, but all is well with my affairs. And so we'll pray. Beginning at the beginning and acknowledging that there's only one power and one presence and one life, and that it is creative. It is an evolutionary impulse that is ever outward and upward. There is no going back. Spirit is always manifesting and creating more, unfolding in and as our lives, in and as all life, everywhere. It is the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown. It is the power and the presence that animates myself
animates each of us here this morning. It animates all beings everywhere. And within us is that holy flame that is eternal and cannot be extinguished. That no matter where we are in our lives and what we are experiencing, there is that is within, that we can rely on, that we can rest in, those hands that are our foundation, that flow that we are a part of, that is always moving forward and upward. And so I claim right now that this holy boldness that we move into today, a new idea of holy boldness, fires up that eternal flame, that life-giving energy, that life-sustaining spirit that is eternal, in a way that allows us to take in that idea and externalize it and experience it and enjoy it. I'm grateful for these things. I'm grateful for the way that Genesis Center for Spiritual Living shows up as an opportunity for us to know ourselves in that way, to know our eternal flame, to know our holy boldness. I give thanks for each individual who helps to make this opportunity, this container that we occupy, possible. I give thanks to Reverend James, who has made himself available to facilitate and to hold, to keep this eternal flame high and hot and fired up. I give thanks for it all, and I let go of this word, knowing that the continuation of the service is a continuation of the word, is a continuation of life, and so it is. Sheila K.
And I'm sure you guys know this song. Everybody knows Earth, Wind, and Fire, so sing along, please. Take you high and higher to the world you belong. Heart of fire creates love, desire. High and higher to your place on the throne. We come together on this special day, yeah, to sing a message loud and clear. Looking back, we've touched on sorrowful days. Future past, they disappear. And you will find peace of mind. Oh, if you look way down in your heart and soul, no, don't hesitate, because the world seems cold. Stay young at heart, 'cause you'll never, never, never grow old. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the way of the world. You plant your flowers and you grow a pearl. A child is born with a heart of gold. The way of the world makes his heart grow cold. Yeah, 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 yeah. imagine a guitar player right now. Yeah, me too. Heart's fire, love, desire, high and higher. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Heart's a fire, love's desire, high and higher. We come together on this special day to sing a message loud and clear. Ooh. Looking back, we touched on sorrowful days. Yeah, whole future disappears, and we will find peace of mind. Oh, if you look way down in your heart and soul, no, don't hesitate, because the world seems cold. Stay young at heart, 'cause you'll never, 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 never grow. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's the way of the world. Plant your flower and you grow a girl. A child is born with a heart of gold. The way of the world makes his heart grow cold. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Spread some love. Love, 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 love. Spread some love, yeah. Love, 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 love. Spread some love. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
You know, amazing music. It's always wonderful to get to hear that voice, hear those rhythms, hear those songs. This month is Holy Boldness, and today we're talking about fired up. But I want to start before that is human beings have a negativity bias, and so we tend to pay more attention to bad things happening in the world than good things happening in the world. And there's something good that happened that got my attention that I want to bring to your attention. So how many people are baseball fans or, oh, not a lot, a couple. Okay. So as a kid, I was a big baseball fan. One of the things I loved about baseball was the statistics, because I was much better with numbers than I was at hitting line drives. And something happened a couple of weeks ago that I think is spectacular and really changes a lot of I think it improves baseball. It makes it better than it was. And this was the combining of the Negro League's baseball statistics with the Major League Baseball statistics. So it looks like a lot of people knew about this, but to me, it's, they were very careful about doing this. I mean, you can say it's about time. In 1947, they integrated Major League Baseball. In 2024, they integrated the statistics. But they first had to figure out that, was the Negro League play as good as the Major League play? And when they looked at the exhibition games played between Major League teams and Negro League teams, they found the Negro League teams won about 2/3 of the time. So they were at least as good as the Major League teams. And so they collected the statistics. And in Major League Baseball, they have methods of collecting the statistics. They do it online every game and put them up. The Negro Leagues had played about 6,000 games between 1920 and 1960. And they weren't keeping track of the statistics. So what people had to do, and this was led by Larry Lester of the Negro League's Statistical Review Committee. They decided which teams were Major League Negro Leagues, and then they started hunting down the games. And what they had to do was they found contemporaneous newspaper articles and box scores. They would find them on microfilm. Anybody remember microfilm from back in the old days? And they printed them out on paper and then typed them into an Access database. Thank you, Access. And so it wasn't really a crowdsourced effort, but there were a lot of people who worked on it. And to me, it seems like it would be a labor of love to go and to find all these teams and to move back into the past and see, what was the 1943 season like. And I mentioned the 1943 season because Josh Gibson is now considered to be the best batter ever in Major League and Negro League Baseball. In 1943, he batted .466 for an entire season, and I know, isn't it? .466, which is the highest anybody has ever batted for a whole season. His slugging percentage in 1943 was .974, and Barry Bonds in his best year did .863. His on-base percentage was .564. For his whole career, he batted .372. .372. Most people are in the 200s. Upper 200s if you're really good. Ty Cobb comes in second with .367. So Ty Cobb was no slouch. His career slugging percentage was .718, and Babe Ruth's was .690. So nothing. The thing is that's interesting is this says nothing bad about Babe Ruth or Ty Cobb. This just says there were other guys who were better. And it's nice that we finally let those other guys play with us. What they say about Josh Gibson was that he had as much power as Babe Ruth, but he hit line drives, and Babe Ruth tended to hit fly balls, and so that's why his batting average wasn't as high. If it didn't make it out of the park, it was a fly out. Whereas if you hit line drives, if it doesn't make it out of the park, maybe it'll bounce off the wall and you get a double or a triple. So good old Josh Gibson. So we know about Josh Gibson. There are half a dozen others who are just as good, but I didn't memorize their names. I did want to talk about Satchel Paige, who had the third best season pitching in 1940. Was it 43 as well? No, it was 1944, where he had a 1.01 earned run average, whereas most pitchers are in the 3s if they're really good, or 2s if they're exceptional. And he was the third best, so there were 2 pitchers who did even better than him, but one in our time, Bob Gibson in 1968 had a 1.12 ERA, and actually, after he did that, they had the Bob Gibson. He did so well, he dominated batters so much, they changed the way, they had the Bob Gibson rules, and they lowered the pitcher's mound because they thought otherwise nobody would be able to hit Bob Gibson's pitches. So that's how, and Satchel Paige was better than that. So this is the good news. The good news is that people recognized it, and also that there was a groundswell of people who were willing and able to do this labor of love, to move into the past. I think they had a fire in their belly about, what can we do? We can move into the past and we can show that these are equivalent, and we can let every kid. So, I think of 12-year-old James memorizing all the statistics about Major League Baseball, and I knew, maybe when my grandson Josiah is 12 years old, he'll get to memorize these and tell me all about Josh Gibson and Bob Gibson. By the way, it's interesting. I'm like, Josh Gibson and Bob Gibson, are they related? And it turns out, not really. Bob Gibson has a brother, Josh Gibson, who is also a professional baseball player, but he was not the Josh Gibson. He was another Josh Gibson. So, okay, so that's the good news, and we're moving into this month is about holy boldness. This year we are about a grand rising, and holy boldness is June's way of moving into a grand rising. Last week we talked about sacred audacity. We talked about how the month of June is named after Juno, who is the goddess of partnerships, of love, of connection, of growth. We talked about how Joan of Arc and Egnatike had the holy audacity to do what needed to be done. I'm going to talk about our motto today, our affirmation. Let's actually say it. I am fired up and ready to live life fully. I am fired up and ready to live life fully. And we're going to talk about 3 ways we do that. First, fired up, ready to go. But then I want to jump into vulnerable and humble, because the holy boldness sometimes seems, there is so much energy. I think it's because it's my problem. It's easy to be arrogant and to think you're better than that, or think that you've got to be better than that. And I think you can be bold without being arrogant. You can be bold and vulnerable and open to life. So our boldness is about connecting us to spirit so that we know what is ours to do while remaining vulnerable. I'm going to jump into the story about Edith Childs and Fired Up, Ready to Go. So we're going to travel back in time to 2008, when Obama was running for president for the first time. In fact, this was before the Iowa caucuses. And Obama had to fly commercial then. He didn't have Air Force One back in those days. He was actually not even on a lot of folks' radar. But a state legislator from South Carolina had done him a favor. And so he was like, what can I do to repay you? And the legislator said, visit my district, Greenwood, South Carolina. And he was like, okay, how hard can that be? Well, it turns out the day he went to visit, the day before, his plane was late. They got into the hotel and didn't get into bed until 3 a.m. But then he heard, before he went to bed, they had to get up at 6:30 a.m. in order to make it to Greenwood, South Carolina, because it's hours from anywhere. So he got up 6:30, get in the car, it's pouring down rain, and they spend hours driving. When they get there, there's an inconspicuous-looking, inauspicious-looking hall where they go in, and there are 20 people sitting there. You're running for president, you'd like to have more than 20 people. And Obama tries to put on his best game face, but he's really feeling a little grumpy and low energy, and why did I agree to this? And then he hears, fired up. And the 20 people say, fired up, ready to go, ready to go. And they keep saying, fired up, ready to go, fired up, ready to go. And so Obama and his guys start saying, fired up, ready to go, fired up, ready to go. And suddenly, he feels it. He feels fired up. He feels ready to go. The grumpiness has left the room. He's got the energy, and he gives his classic Obama speech. So where did this come from? It was Edith Childs. And Edith Childs was a registered nurse. She had a whole career as a registered nurse. And when she retired, she actually went to become a private investigator. She did this because a lot of her retired friends were being subjected to scams. And so she went and she hunted down the scam artists and she got their money back. And she prevented other scam artists from setting up shop in Greenwood, South Carolina. And she prevented people from becoming victim to them. And she just decided this was it for her, a life of public service. When she'd go to the local sports games and the teams would look sort of down, in the audience, she'd say, "Fired up, ready to go." And she'd get the whole crowd chanting. In fact, let's do it. Fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. And I can feel that holy boldness sort of lighting itself up within me. And so this is what Edith did. And fired up, ready to go turns out to be something everybody working for Obama did in 2008. And even when they lost primaries, even when things weren't going well, especially when things weren't going well, was when they needed to be fired up and ready to go. And that chant would just bring the group energy and bring the connection back to that holy boldness, to that fire. And he used it again in 2012. And it was interesting. At some point, Obama called Edith and wanted her to come back to get the old team together for Fired Up, Ready to Go. And she said, "I'm sorry, Obama, but I am doorbelling in North Carolina. We got an election to win. I don't have time to be making plane flights somewhere." And he's like, "That is fired up, ready to go." This is the kind of energy we can have for ourselves, we can generate, we can make. I mean, the energy is always there, and the idea is how do we connect to it? And we can connect to it with that chant. Obama said in one of his speeches, "One voice can change the room." If you can, which she did, Edith changed the rooms. If you can change the room, you can change a city. And Greenwood was changed. If you can change a city, you can change a state. If you can change a state, you can change a nation. If you can change a nation, you can change the world. And if we change the world, we're making it a better place for all. So why wouldn't we want to do? We want to be able to take our spirit, connect with our spirit, and be able to live our best life with holy boldness, where you feel like anything's possible, where we're ready to tackle whatever life brings our way. We have an attitude of zest and zeal for life, fired up and ready, willing to go. Vulnerable and humble. So when we think of being fired up, we think of being stimulated, provocative, action-oriented. I have to tell you, the book that's recommended for this month is it's written by the Knapp Ministry. Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto. And Tricia Hershey, who wrote the book and is official self-proclaimed Knapp minister of naps, she found herself exhausted, always pushing herself too hard, trying too hard. And she just wanted to give herself permission to listen to her body and to be able to rest and to be able to choose the things to do. So you're not always pushing harder. You can be fired up, ready to go without being exhausted. You can have that internal energy, and you can generate the energy and then know what is yours to do. And that's part of connecting with spirit. It helps you know what is yours to do. So a key in spiritual development and evolution is the act of being vulnerable, humble, and open. You can see vulnerability as a weakness. Actually, that's one of the things I love about Genesis is, it's right in our vision statement that we honor vulnerability. Being humble allows for patience and surrender, which opens the space for further learning and growth. To be humble requires the release of arrogance or any sense of superiority, and instead to be open and teachable. When Jesus said, "The meek shall inherit the earth," What he meant is that people who are open and vulnerable and can listen have that power to inherit the earth. It's not that people who are scared and running away. It's that people who have that openness to know that that there is, that Spirit has the power and we have access to that power. So there's value in being quiet and still, listening and leaning in to hear something deeper and greater, and allowing the truth to sink in quietly while lighting the flame of God gently within. The third thing is about fire in the belly. Being fired up brings a deep inner conviction and commitment to whatever we are fired up about. There's an inner passion and motivation that can be likened to fire in the belly. There's clarity and purpose that drives our action towards a specific goal and purpose. When we have fire in the belly about holy boldness, we're headed forward on a clear path and direction and cannot be distracted or deterred. We have strength and confidence. We'll get there no matter what. This is when we use that fire in the belly in an affirmative prayer. And the fire in the belly draws us that deep knowing that the absolute and resolute truth is in God, and this prayer is successfully complete right now without one doubt. And I'd actually like to do 5-element Tai Chi. For those of you who haven't done it before, I'll walk you through it. I learned this actually in 1985 in Switzerland at a macrobiotic ski resort. There was there was a Swiss guy who taught us 5-element Tai Chi, and I've been doing it ever since. Al Huang, the guy who invented this style, lives in Gold Beach, Oregon. But it's the idea of this style of Tai Chi is that you're looking for the feeling. The point of the movements is to emphasize the feeling, and so you want to be chasing the feeling more than trying to. When I go to Tai Chi classes and they say you need to raise your elbow a little bit, I'm like, this is not my class. My class is where you feel the fire in the belly and then you feel the rain coming down. And so you can do this sitting down, but really it's easier to do standing up. And you need space because at one point we're going to circle around with our arms wide and you don't want to hit anybody. Or at least not very hard. So we start with the fire in the belly. And so just move your awareness into your belly and feel the fire. And the arms sort of represent the fire, the boldness. We are fired up in our belly and ready to go. And when the fire gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and then it bursts forth, and then the water comes. This is the emotions, and the emotions come and collect that boldness, that fire in the belly, and bring them down through our body into the earth, and we pull them back up through our roots, through ourselves, and then we grow and we branch out. And then we look around. As we branch out, we look around and we see all the wonderful things in our world, all the wonderful people, anything we can learn. And we find out about them. We talk to people. We watch movies. We research things and we practice. We practice until we make them a part of us. And then anything we no longer need, we release. And then we embrace the tiger that is our life so far, cuddly and fierce. And we return to the mountaintop where we never left. 2 more times. So fire in the belly, the fire builds and builds and builds and builds until it bursts forth. And then the water comes down, the emotions collect it, and we collect all that fire, bring it into ourselves, pull it into the ground, pull it back up through ourselves, and then we grow and we branch out. And we look around, we look at all the beautiful things in the world, and what are we interested in? What are we fascinated? What draws us? And we learn about it, we study it, we practice it, we talk to people, we study with people, and we make it a part of us. And then anything we no longer need, we release, and then we embrace the tiger that is our life so far, cuddly and fierce, and return to the mountaintop where we never left. Last time. Here's more fire, another creative idea, another brilliant stroke, another instance of fire in the belly until it bursts forth. And then we come and collect it and take that energy down through us into the earth, back from the earth into us, and we stretch out, we reach out, and then we look at the world. What else are we interested? What draws our attention? What attracts us? What do we know is ours to do? And we talk to people, and we study, and we learn about it, and we practice, and we make it a part of us. And then anything we no longer need, we release, and we embrace the tiger that is our life so far, cuddly and fierce, and return to the mountaintop where we have always been. We've never left. So thank you for that. So I'm going to bring us on a little odyssey. This Friday is the beginning of the Hajj, and the Hajj is a 5-day adventure that Muslims are called upon to do at least once in their lifetime if they have the means. And my friend from Microsoft, Jawad Kaki, went on one day, and so I'm going to bring us all to the Hajj through his eyes. So it's an adventure. So he had a call to adventure. He decided he was a lifelong Muslim, and he wanted to go on the spiritual quest. He decided this was the time to do it. So he got enough vacation time he could do it. He got the tickets. There's special clothing you need to wear, white clothing, unhemmed, so everybody looks the same. And he flew over to Saudi Arabia, to Mecca, where he found 2 million people, all dressed in white. You can't stay in hotels because there aren't 2 million hotel rooms in Saudi Arabia, but they have tents. You can stay in tents. And so he's staying in the tents. And so this is the first part, he's fired up and ready to go, where he gets excited about the trip. He gets on the airplane, he gets the garments. And then there's the ordeal. There's the vulnerability of, like, it's an 18-hour flight if you're lucky, if everything goes well. So lots of time on the airplane, jet lag, you're halfway around the world. It's confusing. There are 2 million people. If you don't like crowds, you are in for a world of hurt. Open and vulnerable. But then he gets there, and the first thing you do is you go to the Kaaba. Now the Kaaba it's a black cube that's 40 feet high and 40 feet wide, 30 feet wide. And it was the original Kaaba. It's been rebuilt a bunch of times, but originally it was built 3,000 years ago by Abraham and Isaac as a house for God. They say, God's got to live someplace, let's build him a house. Boom. And so this is Abraham and Isaac's house for God. And what you do is you walk around it 7 times. So he's walking around this house of God 7 times with 2 million people. And I can just imagine the fire in the belly, the spirit that's coming and lifting up. And as he complete the 7 walks, the 7 times around the Kaaba, God's house, you go, it's actually just 300 feet away. You go to the opposite situation. There are 2 hills there. And these are the hills where Hagar and Ishmael found themselves. Hagar she was enslaved by Sarah, Abraham's wife, and Sarah didn't think she was going to be able to have a child for Abraham, so she said, Abraham, have a child with Hagar. And so they did. The child was Ishmael, and Hagar was a very good mother and was bringing up Ishmael very well, but Sarah was like, no, I don't want these guys in the camp. Throw them out in the desert. And so they were out in the desert. And after being in the desert for a long time, Ishmael, who's usually brave and bold, was crying because he was so thirsty. And Hagar saw no water. It was the middle of the desert. And she just dropped to her knees and prayed, help me, help me. And the angel Gabriel came. Now, I'm sure she saw the angel Gabriel. You know, everybody has a different way of connecting with God. We might have connected with a different way. But she had Gabriel come and show her, look, there's a spring. You can drink from it. And so she and Ishmael drank from that spring, and this began their life. And Hagar and Ishmael became the progenitors of the Arab civilization, which turned into, Islamic civilization. So but this all happened because she was open and vulnerable. She wasn't like, I can do it, because she couldn't. And she was willing to be vulnerable enough and open to any kind of assistance. And the kind of assistance she got was an angel pointing her to a spring. That spring is called the Zamzam well. And after you go there and open yourself to the vulnerability of Hagar and Ishmael, you get to drink from that very well that quenched their thirst. The next day you go to a different spot, the Mountain of Mercy, where people commune with God. And there's a pillar that they say represents Satan. And you get to throw pebbles. You pick up pebbles and you throw pebbles at Satan. So I'm like, what does this mean? So the first thing, I'm like, what it really means is you're letting go of anything you no longer need. You're letting go of the pebble. But it could also mean that you are saying to the voice that says, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. It's not me. I'm jealous of them. You're saying to that voice, get out of my head. And sometimes, I'm not sure that's always the best approach, but that's the approach they've been using for 1,400 years in Mecca. And it seems to work for them. And you can. Actually, this is something I know that for, if you have a voice in your head that's telling you bad things and seems really believable, one of the things you can do is talk back to it. You can say, that's not true, that's not so. I did this and this and this. You can embrace it, or you can talk back. There are different ways to deal with it. The important thing is, if the voice tells you you're not enough, don't believe it. It's lying. It may think it's telling the truth, but it's not. And so that's why I think we throw pebbles at Satan. So when after that, there's a point where you can sacrifice. Abraham famously offered to sacrifice his son Isaac to God, but God, once he was willing to sacrifice his dearest thing in his life, God provided another creature for the sacrifice. So I think a goat showed up that he sacrificed, and Isaac got to be saved. But the idea is that, when we are fired up, when we are reaching for our holy boldness, if we just surrender everything completely, that holy boldness will watch out for us, and we'll know if it's right. We'll know what's right. So a sacrifice is asked to be made, and a lot of people it's optional. A lot of people will sacrifice a lock of hair. My friend Jawad, who came in with thick black hair and a big black beard, shaved everything. He was like a billiard ball. And so when he came back, I was actually sitting at the same table in the cafeteria with him, and I had no idea that he was Jawad until I heard his voice. I'm like, I recognize that voice, but I don't know where. I kept looking around, even though he was right in front of me. And he said, oh, the haircut. I'm like, oh. And what was interesting was just that you could feel the energy just pulsing from him. He was radiating the light of God. And when we go on pilgrimages, this is what happens. We have the call to action, we have the quest, and then we come back with the elixir. And the elixir was this sort of radiant light of God that he was beaming everywhere. And so I think we can do this in any kind of pilgrimage. I went to the beach with my grandchildren, and they were excited at first, beach, 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 and then we had to park in the overflow parking lot and walk a long way and go through a tunnel. But we went through the ordeal, and then the sand was too hot, and I had to carry the grandkids so they didn't burn their feet. Luckily, I have practice on hot sand, so my feet were safe. And then we were there, and we got to enjoy the low tide, the crabs, the baby ducks, everything you find at the beach, and came home like tired but happy. And this is the hero bringing home the elixir. And I think this was we had when we were feeling low, when we were low energy, we were like fired up, ready to go, and we brought that spirit back in. And I think this is what I call upon us all to do. When you find yourself feeling low, know that you can tell yourself the truth about yourself. And the truth for all of us is that we are fired up and ready to go. We can be fired up and ready to go anytime we want. And fired up and ready to live life fully. Open, vulnerable, open our hearts. So let's say this 3 times together. I am fired up and ready to live life fully. Fired up and ready to live life fully. I am fired up and ready to live life fully. And so we are, and you have that power. I'm going to talk now about prayer cards. So for prayer, I always talk first about the prayer demonstration, because the more, I think, as we look at the positive results we've had in our life with prayers, that increases our ability and our power to pray more powerfully. And I was thinking about, what kind of demonstrations have I had? I've had actually spectacular, unbelievable demonstrations, where people think I'm lying when I say it. But I've also had everyday miracles. I've had a lot more. I probably had 1 million more everyday miracles than spectacular, unbelievable miracles. And so this is whatever kind of demonstration sort of lifts your heart, whether it's just an everyday miracle of, I loved seeing Mount Rainier today when I was driving down to church. I love being able to carry the grandkids over the hot sands so that they can go and appreciate Dungeness crabs and how much fun it is to live in a place where there are living creatures on the beach. So any kind of prayer demonstration, any kind of everyday miracle, I'd say write it down. The cards go to our practitioners who pray over them, and so not only does it inspire you, it inspires our whole practitioner corps who in turn inspire us. And then for prayer requests, you can pray for yourself, you can pray for somebody else, you can pray for the world. The world needs a lot of prayer these days. You can pray a prayer of gratitude, gratitude for the people who brought us, who walked through every single at-bat in the whole Negro League season, 6,000 games, and wrote down all the information in an Access database so that we now know just how good a hitter Josh Gibson was, just how good a pitcher Satchel Paige was. Anything, we can pray for things that seem really impossible, or we can pray for things that we already know have happened. Any one of these prayers will have an effect, will have a powerful effect in our world. So you can keep on writing if you're still writing, but we've now opportunity to bring back Sheila for another wonderful song, another gift to our ears and our hearts.
Before. So speaking of social justice, I don't know if you guys know, but I did a music recording within the last 3 years. And on Sunday, June 29th, we're doing a community music video. And my song is called Black Voice Crying Out. And it's a song that talks about, you know, Black people and our experience here. And but also, I want to represent Black and brown peoples in a beautiful way. And so we're having a bunch of community members. It's all free, you know, no one has to participate if they don't want to, but we're gonna make it a huge community event, and people can come out and be in the video and get filmed if they choose to, and asking that you wear, you know, your Black Lives Matter t-shirts or something similar. And so that's June 29th from noon to 3, if you want to be a part of it. I'm also looking for sponsors, so if you know anyone willing to contribute or who would want to sponsor this important event, just look me up and we can talk. That was it. Thank you. June 29th at Stanley Sayers Park on Lake Washington. It's nicknamed the Pits. It's also a boat dock, so really easy to find. So yeah, I thought I'd let you guys know. Thank you for that. I'm just about ready. Trying to find my song notes, just a second. Okay. I'm ready. Yeah. You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find the fire, but I see you, so we're gonna walk it out and move mountains. We're gonna walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. We'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, Rise like the day, I'll rise up. Rise unafraid, I'll rise up. And I'll do it 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up, rise like the waves. We'll rise up, we'll rise unafraid. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. We'll rise, yeah, 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 yeah. And we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Thank you, Sheila K. Absolutely. Absolutely. Woo. Yeah. Rise up. Yes. All right. So we're going to finish our service with our offering. And we know that our center is supported by God, and we welcome you to be part of how God's support shows up. If you are on Facebook, please visit our website at genesiscsl.org, or you can text your tithe to 206-800-7595. So let's take a moment to make that financial gift. That's what I'm talking about. All right. If you feel called to, you can put your offering near to your heart as we say our offering blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. Gideon's going to come around and collect our prayers and our offerings, and while he does that, we're going to sing God is My Source. Let's do that. Sheila K. Thank you, Sheila.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
And so I want to acknowledge that we have and give thanks for the fact that we have initiated the power of circulation, and that because we know that as we give, so shall we receive, pressed down, multiplied, and overflowing into our individual lives, into the life of Genesis as an institution, and to the world, if you can just imagine with me, that flowing over and to encompass the entire planet and all beings on it. And so it is. Please join us for fellowship after service. Our treats today are a gift from one of our care circles, the supper club specifically. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that and invite you to have fellowship after service. And we're going to close out with Sheila K. and I Release. Please stand up. Genesis.